4 Cavern of Souls and Clifftop Retreats as your dual lands.
Like some Slayer Strongholds.
And you have Slayer Strongholds, so you actually, like, with 2 or 3 Slayer Strongholds, you have, like, 6 or 7 lands that can't cast the Angel, and it's triple white.
That's fair.
So it might be a tough one to cast. But, I mean, if you're just going to play only Plains, the other stuff, then definitely.
Okay, so to our round 1 feature match. Tell us a little more about Lewis's deck.
Alright, Lou is playing a mono-blue Grand Architect deck. He has Dungeon Geist, he has Merfolk Looter, he has Wormcoil Engine, he has Phyrexian Metamorph, he has Phantasmal Image, he has Snapcaster Mage, he has Grand Architect, he has Devastation Tide, Gitaxian Probe, Ponder, and Vapor Snag. His lands, 10 colorless lands, and 13 islands.
Okay, so a turn 1 probe reveals Inkmoth Nexus, Ghost Quarter, Ichorclaw Mirror, Titanic Growth, the core set pump spell, Plague Mirror, what looks like Wild Defiance from here, and Mutagenic Growth. Now, that is a Wild Defiance, right?
I believe
that one
so.
that he's touching with his left hand?
Now, Wild Defiance is an interesting card. It costs 2 colorless and a green. Mm-hmm. And it says that whenever a creature you control becomes the target of an instant or sorcery spell, it gets +3/+3 until end of turn.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to make it work. I actually tried to work on an Infect deck for my Building on a Budget column using Wild Defiance, and I couldn't really make it work, so I'm interested to see how Robbi's deck works out. Alright, Lou has a turn 2 Snapcaster Mage, decides to flash back the Gitaxian Probe.
Yeah, no real cost there since he's getting infected or not.
Yeah, I mean, just basically playing that as a Silver Gull Adept that can later on be used as a Soul Ring in conjunction with a Grand Architect. It's a really nice play from Lou. Keeps him ahead on cards here. It's like Lou hasn't spent a card yet, and he has a 2/1 in play.
Yeah. I mean, he needs to start applying pressure early since at some point he can just get killed out of nowhere.
Yeah, now the fact that Robbi chose to play Plague Mirror as opposed to Ichorclaw Mirror means that Lou doesn't have to really worry about his opponent going all in the next turn because he has a blocker that can just, trade or force his opponent to use a removal spell. So he's going to get to attack here.
Yeah, and the big deal about Plague Mirror really is that if Lou has Grand Architect here, then there isn't a good attack for Robbi without a pump spell. And Lou's happy to trade Dude for pump spell in a turn. Because going long, he just has a bunch of Wormcoil engines and can stall the game out on the ground.
Alright, now Robbi has a few different options here.
Is that an Apostle's Blessing in his hand?
I believe it is. That's a good one.
Yeah. So...
And that's one that might catch Lou off guard.
Yeah. Especially since I believe it can give protection from artifacts.
And,
artifacts or from the color of your choice.
A little odd for Lou, too. He's Gitaxian Probed his opponent twice. Only one unknown card in his opponent's hand, and it's the only card that matters.
Yeah. Because he can just, Apostle's Blessing on blue and just, get in for a ton. Ooh,
a Livewire Lash.
Livewire Lash is pretty nice. Okay.
That is a nice one.
So let me tell you about this deck. Because I really hope that we see the other spicy card here, which is Artful Dodge.
Ooh.
Yeah, we have Artful Dodge in this blue-green Infect deck. Okay, so he probes again.
Alright, now he knows.
Yeah, but
the jig is up.
I really, really hope that he gets Artful Dodge. I mean, I love Lou, but Artful Dodge, winning a game of Standard, I could go for that.
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah. So, the reason why Livewire Lash is insane in this deck is because every time you equip it to something that has Infect, the Infector deals 2 Infect damage to your opponent's dome. And so you can just keep paying 2, even if it's your only dude and it's already equipped, to keep shocking them.
So... Oh, alright, so Livewire Lash, it does infect people.
Oh, sorry. My mistake. You can't keep equipping it, but every single pump spell also nugs them.
Yes.
Thought that might be a little too good.
Yeah, that would be a little good. people definitely would have been doing that.
Yeah.
If Robbi had a land here, he could come pretty close to just killing his opponent.
To inform you that our credit card machine is not working, so we will not be able to take credit or debit cards at the sales booth for the rest of the day. If you'd like to make a purchase, please make sure that you have cash. There is an ATM available downstairs in the lobby.
So Vapor Snagger, Plague Mirror, pretty good when Robbi doesn't have a third land.
Yeah. Now, something that I don't really like about Lou's deck is the fact that he only has 13 islands.
So we now have 2 Wild Defiances, a Titanic Growth, 2 Apostles' Blessings, and what looks like 2 Mutagenic Growths.
Yeah.
So how many lands does Lou have?
Altogether,
Yeah.
Lou has 23 lands, which I think is fine for this deck, but I don't think you need this many colorless lands. Like, the Buried Ruins are awesome. The Ghost Quarters don't seem that awesome. Because right here he's...
I mean, I think what he wants to do with his Ghost Quarters is copy his opponent's Primeval Titan and get the 2 Ghost Quarters, and so like match those up against the 2 Wolf Runs that his
That makes
opponent
sense.
can get.
That's very reasonable. And that's actually a really nice angle to have in your deck, too.
Because your opponent pretty much always plays 4 Ink Moth, 2 Wolf Run, so you can just always get their Wolf Runs. So Hinterland Harbor coming into play sideways. Robbi has 8 colorless lands, which is
a lot for a 2-color deck.
a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, he only has...
Does he? How many Ghost Quarters does he really want?
Robbi?
Mm-hmm.
None? Or does he want to kill his opponent before that matters? Because
Yeah.
Ghost Quarter is a very in-game card.
Yeah.
Like, Ghost Quarter is a
Like,
card that...
what sort of land
I'm
does
really
he wanna
hard-pressed
kill?
to play Ghost Quarter in Standard in any deck other than Blue-Black Control and a Sun Titan Control deck.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just not sure what inspired him to put that in there, right? Like maybe he wants to kill Inkmoth Nexus? Okay, so Lou Ghost Quartering himself, which puts him down a land but up a blue source, telling us that he probably is playing Grand Architect next turn, which means that he's probably playing Wormcoil Engine next turn.
Yeah, and his opponent with,
No board presence.
yes, nothing. No pressure at all. And I mean, here, basically, I think Lou's cards are just much more powerful so far this game.
Yeah.
Like, he's Snapcastered multiple times, drew extra cards off of them. You know, even his Vapor Snags are just dealing small amounts of damage. His opponent's mana base is a little shaky. He has a lot of cards in his hand that really don't do that much.
Yeah. The problem that Robbie's going to run into is that he just didn't have pressure early, and so as we're getting into what's going to very quickly become Lou's endgame of casting Wormcoil Engine, he doesn't
And then
really
more
have
Wormcoil
anything to do against
And
that.
then more Wormcoil
He just like has to
Engine.
get in with a Glistener Elf before that happens.
Remember, he can kill a Phantasmal Image for free with one of those Mutagenic Growths.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. I think I would do that here.
Yeah, I mean you're gonna take 2 from it anyway.
Yeah, because once, like, this turn is the point where it matters. Like, your clock really wouldn't change at all.
Yeah, whereas now he's on... So he goes to 8 here. I guess he's still dead in 2. So like the Snapcaster didn't change the clock at all?
Yeah, I mean, he's still dead in 2 swings. But the thing is now he's dead in 2 swings.
And he can and he can't use a Mutagenic Growth.
And the Mutagenic Growth doesn't change the clock anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mutagenic Growth was the right play here on the Phantasmal Image because...
Yeah, a Vapor Snag in response to that equip.
Ooh, that's
And,
brutal.
Yeah, I think Robbi's just dead to a Grand Architect if Lou has one in hand.
Grand Architect is
Yep.
an Anthem. Yep, that's 9.
And that's it. So,
Grand Architect, little known first ability, Glorious Anthem for blue creatures.
it's a really good card. It's also a 3 Toughness Lord for 3 mana.
Yeah.
You can also make other creatures blue, so they get the Lord effect for 1 blue
Yeah,
mana.
yeah,
Or you can use that as a ritual effect.
yeah. Always good.
It's a very good card.
So,
Let me tell you, as the guy who writes building on a budget, I've explored Grand Architect very, very thoroughly.
yeah, as the dude who plays a lot of Legacy, I've explored Grand Architect not at all.
Not at all.
So what's Lou got to bring in here against the blue-green Infect deck?
I don't know, probably his dismember is obviously insane.
Yeah, that card's...
Steel Sabotage seems pretty good. Dungeon Geist, I don't hate that here either.
Yeah, just lock one dude down, trade with another.
I don't know if you want Ratchet Bomb, although Ratchet Bomb's set on 2, kind of just, I think that just ends the game.
He's super
Like, what can your opponent do?
he's got Listener Elf.
Oh, okay.
So his dudes are 4 Glistener Elf, 4 Blighted Agent, which is the unblockable dude, 3 Ichor Claw and 3 Plague Mirror, and 1 Necropede. Necropede is the dude that Contagion clasps something when it dies. The -1/-1 counter.
Yep.
So he's just got a bunch of pump spells, 3 Livewire Lashes, 4 Defiances, and 3 Artful Dodges.
It's an interesting brew. If his mana base was better and like he could actually cast his spells.
Yeah. His mana
You know,
base
last game he could have been much more aggressive. Like I don't think he played that correctly. Like he could have
just should have been forcing through infect damage always.
Yeah, I mean I think he had an opportunity to attack with that Plague Mirror. I don't think Lou would have blocked.
And he just like dumps 4.
Yeah, I think he should have just dumped his hand there, then lose that like 7 infect on like after Lou's second turn, and then he has an Inkmoth Nexus in play.
Yeah.
Which probably could have just got there.
In.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with attacking with Inkmoth Nexus, because the worst that happens is it gets Vapor Snagged, you don't have another land drop, you play your Inkmoth Nexus again, and you say go, and you're in the exact same spot.
Yeah.
And then when
you can
he
even
just
tap it for mana again after you replay it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So
one of the big lessons, especially when you're playing an Infect deck that's not a control deck, is every opportunity you get to just attack with your Inkmoth, it's usually like a better play than your other options.
Yeah.
Because you just get a free point of poison.
So his mana base, for those of you at home, Robbi's, is 4 Ghost Quarter, 4 Inkmoth, 4 Hinterland Harbor, 4 Island, 4 Forest, 3 Evolving Wilds.
I think that would be better as 7 Forest, 5 Islands, 3 Evolving Wilds, 4 Inkmoth Nexus, 4 Hinterland Harbor.
Yeah. I also think, at the risk of trying to put Cavern of Souls in too much, that you could probably just play Cavern of Souls as a better Ghost Quarter. Like, if you need to play all of your Infect dudes early, then you could probably just, like, play a Cavern of Souls or 2. Like, put it on either Elf or whatever Blighted Agent's creature type is, and have that mana.
That's fair. I also think he should just have more green than he does blue, because
Very much agree with that.
there's a lot of...
He built his deck to sort of be schizophrenic, right? Like, he wants exactly a blue for an Artful Dodge, and then he wants, like, a bunch of other green mana, but he also wants this Inkmoth Nexus. So he's got 23 lands, but he needs, like, exactly green, green, blue, colorless. And when he doesn't get that, it's very, very awkward for him. His sideboard is...
Leeching Bite's pretty sweet.
He's got Leeching Bite, which is real nice. He's got Viridian Corruptor. He's got more Apostles' Blessings, and he's got some Phyrexian Metamorphs. So he's got options.
Yeah, his deck can go in a lot of directions.
I really hope he doesn't bring in this one Grafdigger's Cage, though. Because, like, he got Snapcastered a bunch, so there's that temptation to be like, oh, well, my opponent's playing Snapcaster Mage, I should bring in Grafdigger's Cage.
Yeah, I think the only time Grafdigger's Cage belongs in your sideboard is if you have Trinket Mage in your deck, standard. I really don't think Grafdigger's Cage is... Because even against the
Freets deck?
Even against the Freets deck, when you get like a multiple cage draw, then they're going to beat you with their ramp.
Yeah, like there's still just a ramp deck
like,
where their Unburial Rites is a ritual.
Exactly. I mean, Grafdigger's Cage is not good game against them by any measure.
Eventually, they just draw a bunch of mana sources because their deck is filled with it. Yeah. And they cast their Elesh Norn or their Inferno Titan or their whatever else.
And then they win. I mean, what you want to do against them is you want to kill them before they do stuff, or just kill all their 1 mana
Yeah.
Accelerator guys.
Or
That's the best way to beat them.
be able to beat a turn where they have Elishnorn in play.
Which is not the easiest thing to accomplish.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I found against them, you kill their mana guys. Their deck doesn't really do much.
Yeah.
Their mana base is really bad.
I wish we had Blood Moon in this format. That would be a card.
I think red needs a card like Blood Moon.
Yeah. We haven't seen that much mono red around at all.
I think there are ways to build mono red right now. I don't think anybody's really willing to go for them. I think Angel's Tomb. All right.
Okay, so back to game 2. We have Gitaxian Probe on Phyrexian mana, revealing Blighted Agent, Mutagenic Growth. Is that another Mutagenic Growth?
Yep.
Hinterland Harbor and Forest, with Robbi already having a land in play. The land is Inkmoth Nexus. So, a good keep. He has a turn 2 Blighted Agent with a bunch of pump spells. Basically what he wants to see. Blighted Agent, unblockable but not hexproof. So, can still get Vapor Snag.
It's an interesting Invisible Stalker.
Yeah. Or Invisible Stalker is an interesting Blighted Agent. Or a less interesting Blighted Agent, depending on your perspective.
It's true. Alright, so Ponder from Lou.
Yeah, Probe Ponder, a good start to any game.
Setting up one of the really absurd draws that his deck can get. You know, he...
Probe, Snapcaster Probe, Grand Architect.
Yeah, if he has a Grand Architect basically at any point, he can kind of just like use it as a gigantic ritual.
Yeah, so Robbi draws Necropede, and looks like he's going to play the Necropede, because he just played that Forest.
Yeah, he didn't play the Hinterland Harbor on turn 1, which actually made it so it was not possible for him to cast the Blighted Agent on turn 2. So he played the wrong land on turn 1.
Yeah, correct. Which is pretty awkward.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
So that was actually like a pretty good peel for him, all things considered.
Yeah, as far as things go,
yeah,
that draw was really, really good for him. But it was not a very good draw step if you're looking at things from the perspective of if he had just played his hand correctly. It would have been a bad draw step.
So does Lou block with this Merfolk Looter?
I would.
Yeah. So that's an Artful Dodge that he just drew. Pretty good card. Standard staple. So Robbi, heavy on dudes, light on pump. He's got some mutagenic growths, but that's it. Do you just like...
use the Artful Dodge.
Artful Dodge my Necropede in for 1. So one of them was a Titanic growth instead of a mutagenic growth. All green pump spells look the same. They all do the same things.
And he did not use the mutagenic growth. He just dealt 5 poison.
Interesting. Not really sure I like that, given that your pump spells can always just get blown out by Vapor Snag, especially since he got multiple Vapor Snag last game. So I feel like you just want to get your points in where you can.
I agree.
I'm also not convinced that with such a threat-heavy hand, you want to Artful Dodge there, as opposed to just trade your Necropede for his Looter, and then play a Blighted Agent.
It's not even 100% that he would have blocked if he was able to.
Right. So, like, let's say he blocks, you play a Blighted Agent, and you're still fine. He doesn't get to loot, and you still have 2 attackers next turn with your Inkmoth Nexus and your Blighted Agent.
It's a little awkward for Lou. Kept 2 lander on the draw, pondered, didn't see a land, shuffled, drew, still no land, pondered again, no land.
That's a sinking feeling.
It's pretty rough. I mean, it happens to everybody.
Yeah, but so he keeps, so he has to have Vapor Snag, right?
He must. Oh, okay. No, he had the land. Okay. He found it. I didn't recognize the Buried Ruin as a land.
Snapcaster Probe. Hand is Blighted Agent, Mutagenic Growth. As we
Lou
know.
must be extremely confused.
Yeah.
based on what his
Yeah.
opponent's hand is and what has been.
Oh, and Peel's best possible. Mutagenic Growth is basically...
That's it. He wins.
Yeah, he just flashes back Artful Dodge and Titanic Growths, and that's exactly game.
Or he just activates
No.
Inkmoth and use both mutagenic growths, and that's game.
No, but one's Titanic and one's Mutagenic.
Oh, one's Titanic? Okay.
Yeah. So, oh, come on, really? Okay, yeah, kill your other guy. Yeah, he definitely just passed up lethal there.
Yep. He could have definitely won the game in that spot.
I also don't like him tapping Forest there because then he has to Phyrexian mana, Mutagenic Growth.
Yep.
Dungeon get. Oh, wow. Lewis is actually going to come back from the sure kill. That's Wild Defiance. Okay.
Now, something Wild Defiance is interesting in that it doesn't do anything.
It's basically an amplifier for your pump spells.
Yeah, so if you've already
Like you
used your pump
Mutagenic Growth
spells,
for 5, or you...
Yeah.
It is not a pump spell unto itself.
and the thing is, it amplifies by the time you're really getting to the 2 or 3 pump spell range.
Yeah, Lewis has to be really confused now. He just probed again. He was like, really?
Wasn't I dead?
Really, man? Shouldn't I don't know, man. Okay, so... yeah, Wild Defiance doesn't do anything on its own. But the reason to finish my point, I didn't like Robbi tapping Forest Hinterland Harbor there because it leaves Inkmoth Nexus up, and if for some reason Lewis has Gut Shot, then he has to pay 2 life to counter it with Mutagenic Growth as opposed to just tapping his Forest. So let that be a lesson to you who organize your lands in any given way. If you just tap the 2 lands that first come to your hand, then you are very likely doing it wrong.
I think Lou's still just dead on board, right?
Nope.
No, nice.
Copy.
All right.
Copy my dungeon, guys. Tap your other Blighted Agent. Ponder again. And he has a Phantasmal Image, so he's got to keep this. Phantasmal Image, just another Dungeon Geist.
Yeah, at this point, that's what it is.
And so Lou actually has a 9-point army. Another Blighted Agent. And
Blighted Agent.
Lou's going to be real happy that he kept that Phantasmal Image on top.
Well, I mean, Phantasmal Image is not really the best because
I mean,
it just gets mutagenic growth.
He didn't do that last game, though.
Maybe he doesn't.
Yeah, maybe he just doesn't see it. Maybe he's locked into the mindset of, I'm planning my pump spells to target my guys. So, like, my
But I
thing's
think he
only
just wins if he just ends step mutagenic growth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Geist, and
But, again, we're not necessarily saying that he sees that, because he also missed Artful Dodge, my dude, Titanic Growth it in, when Lou was tapped out with 5 Infect. Lou just playing this very, very coolly. Buried Ruining a Metamorph.
I appreciate that. It's way safer than, Buried Ruining the Metamorph. That way he can get
Grand Architecting it back out with his 2 dudes.
Yeah, and that's really nice because that means that his opponent can't use mutagenic growth to win.
Yeah. Very, very tight play from Lou. And Robbi is that a second mutagenic growth? I'm not sure. If he has 2 mutagenic growths,
he
then
can still win this turn.
He can't win this turn, right? Because
he can activate Inkmoth, Artful Dodge.
Oh yeah, I forgot that. But he just attacks, and Lou has to block here.
Yeah, block. It has flying.
Yeah, 3/3 flyer. Phantom Monster used to be just like good enough. It was industry standard. So tap, lay down 2 mutagenic growths, and pay a life. Ghost Quarter it.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, at this point, this is one of those matches that's like Lou has played really well.
I agree.
Mean, he is.
That looks like it's
cool
lethal
deck he's
damage.
gone to play against,
I'm no mathematician, but that looks like Robbi's
that
deck.
is lethal. Yeah. The thing is, it's 5 blue creatures, and he has a Lord as one of them. And
Yeah, and 3 of them are 3/3 flyers.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
you can just assume that regardless of how big they are, his opponent's dead. We should see if we can get another match for you guys, but no. Lou Laskin.
Lou Laskin
able to take that down,
2-0 over Robbi Ramirez.
2-0. And